The offensive lineman that the Packers definitely should have drafted, Ben and I talked about a couple weeks ago again. We talked about it during the draft. The Vikings probably should have drafted this guy too, but it's Hartford's own, UW Whitewater's own, Quinn Meinerz, who after an injury is getting a chance to play for the Broncos. So he is here at right guard. Ben showed you a couple awesome plays a couple weeks ago. One pull play where he got to run around just like this play. He's going to pull from right guard and lead around the left side, where he just destroyed a cornerback. Well, as a cornerback, and he's a 300-some-pound dude, but he can move, he can run. And then he also showed you a play where he got a little too aggressive and kind of fell on his face because the defensive guy caught him leaning and just threw him to the side. Now watch Quinn. I'm going to show you a few different plays of this guy. Anyway, on top of this is the way he plays football. On top of the fact that he was the gut, on top of the fact that he was this funny guy who had personality, who could have sold a bunch of stuff for you as Packers fans, as a Packers organization, the fan base, a Wisconsin guy would have gotten behind him, love the gut, like all this stuff. Come on. He's the man. And he's coming around. Like, it's taken him a little while to break into the Broncos, but I think he's going to find himself a permanent spot there. And he's a rookie too. Royce Newman's a rookie who's played a bunch more than this guy. This guy's a rookie who's finally just gotten to get a little playing time in the last two games. This is week 10 highlights here against the Eagles. He's at right guard. I want you to watch him on this play. He's going to lead around to the left. Check him out, number 77. Here he goes, leading around. Watch this. Now, I just want you to see that one more time because it's pretty good. He just destroys this linebacker. Now, that guy ends up making the tackle, sort of. But that's some pretty good stuff by Quinn. Watch as he pulls. I want you to watch him on the next couple of plays too, because I don't want you to think I'm picking out like one play that he just looked awesome on, although he did look awesome on that play. So here he is, right guard. This is a 1st and 15. Same drive. Now, okay, he let Fletcher Cox go after a little bit, but he pushed him downfield 4 yards before he let him go. I think I had like 4 plays in a row here. I wanted you to just look at them. Just game plays. All right, here's Pass Pro, right? Pass Pro. He's going against Fletcher Cox, one of the best defensive linemen in the league. Sometimes he doesn't try that hard, but it looks like in this game he was trying to get, he was playing pretty hard. He's a big man. But Quinn's holding his own. All right, he's getting eat up a little bit there. Bridgewater kind of steps into him, but did the job, kept his guy off him. Not like Royce Newman looking around. Well, I guess I got beat. No, this guy keeps blocking. All right, here he is again. Another pass protection. He fires out. Let's see how he does. Okay, he's getting pushed back now a little bit, trying to reset. Okay, guy got his arm up in high on his shoulder pads, probably close to his face, pushing him back a little further than he would like. But it's a quick play. It's a 1st and 5. Bridgewater gets the ball out, and he holds his own. Now he wants to go clean it up, but he's, push him around a little bit. Good stuff. And then they're running on this play, and Quinn is right here. Let's see what he does in this play. Kind of getting caught up in the wash here. Missed his guy a little bit, but he's downfield at least, helping out before that play happened. So that's a little bit of Quinn Meinerz. Let me see. Maybe there's another play here. Here he is, right guard right there. And he gets a push. Now they bounce it outside and get a nice run. Part of it is getting the put. Oh, this is the one I wanted to show you too. Now I'm not picking these plays out. We're just watching play after play here. Watch this play though. There's a really great play late in the game too. Now this is 2nd and goal from the 1. 2nd and goal from the 1. Here he is, right guard, right here. They got some slide here or a short trap coming from the left guard, number 66. Quinn is right here. He's already fired out. He's the first guy. His helmet's out first. Now he gets nice and low on Cox right here, or it might have been 93. Cox might be here on this play. And then watch what he does. He gets underneath him, turns him, spins, shields him off, works on burying him, and look where they run. Right off his block. Now, Eric, you're a Vikings fan. Would you like to have a guy like that maybe on your offensive line? It looks like he's doing pretty good for maybe like his only second game of NFL action.
I would. I think, just in that sample size, I like what he did in the run game. I'm a little worried about his pass protection. I think his anchor could be a lot better. I think you saw a couple of those where his feet were like way behind his body. And that just sets you up for a swim move or anything, and you're going to be completely beat and fall on your face. So I think he needs to work on his anchor, and it's hard to do that when you're playing against Fletcher Cox and you don't want to get pushed in the quarterback's lap, which he did a couple times. So he'll need to work on his anchor in the pass game, but the run game, that looked really good. And he looked like he moved well enough to be in his own scheme too. So I'm surprised he wasn't one of our targets. What round was he drafted in?
He was, I think, drafted in the 3rd round.
Okay.
He was projected. So he came out of Whitewater. He played, I think, tackle or guard at Whitewater. And a lot of people were projecting him as a center. I thought he'd be a great guard, and the Broncos are using him at guard. And I would love to have a guy like that on the interior of my line. And I understand, and here's a pass set coming up I wanted to show you that's not great. So let's just take a look at it. It just shows it's an example of, he's got some work to do on his pass set, but at least there's something to work from, unlike what I see from Royce Newman, who doesn't seem to have a lot to work from as far as I can tell. So let's just take a peek at this one coming up here on the pass set. It's not a great pass set, but I just want to, because I'm fair. Let's see. He's right here, I think. Snap the ball. Yeah, he's right guard. He's already engaged with Cox right here. Okay. It's not great. He's getting pushed back. Okay. But he's sticking with it. That part I like. He's fighting. He's battling. Okay. Sometimes you're going to get beat a little bit. It's a completed pass. He held up the guy enough. He didn't olay him, turn him loose after 1 second, like we saw from Royce. But let's see. There's another play here. Just a second. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, his hands are active too. You like to see that. He's got good fight with his hands. He's not just, he wasn't doing what Jenkins was doing with his arms down at his side, right? He fires out even in the pass sets to try to get his hands on the guy right away, which is great to see. But I think just some technique with the anchor in his pass set, but it might be a little bit more important for him.
All right, now we got to watch a couple of running plays because that's where he excels. So let's take a peek at a couple of running plays here. Quinn Meinerz, by the way, the gut, formerly the gut, now just Quinn Meinerz. He's right guard right here, the fuzzy right guard. Okay, let's check out what he does in these couple of plays. All right, he starts out on a double team, right? That's pretty nasty to have him on as a double team. Now he's branching off. And he's like, I'll just push this guy around. I don't care. Get him out of the way. So, again, works well off a double team. He's got power. Let's see how he does in this one. So he's right here, right guard again. Got a guy right over him. Nice double team scrape. Go get the linebacker, shove him back. And he does a one thing, like sometimes in a situation like that, you'd almost like to see a guy rather than shove a guy back because sometimes that guy ends up making the tackle. Maybe just engage with him a little bit, but he's super aggressive. So he's just like, I'm going to shove this dude around because I'm way bigger than him and stronger than him. But, this guy doesn't want to tackle this running back, or the way he tackles the running back doesn't look good because he got pushed back so far by Meinerz. So here he comes off of that scrape. That guy's not in a good position to make a tackle, and he gets totally run over. So if you had a good running game, Eric, like say you had Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon and your quarterback didn't want to be there anymore and you might be moving on from him in a year, that might have been a good guy to add to your offensive line group. Or if you had Delvin Cook, maybe. I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but perhaps.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Vikings took a different guard in the 3rd round this year, like Wyatt Davis from Ohio State, who has not played yet despite some injuries and poor play. So too early to say that's a failure, but it still makes you question things a little bit, especially when your center's not playing that well either and just got replaced by a backup guy too. So And if he can play center, I mean, or guard, that's helpful also because he played center at Whitewater, right? Is that correct?
No, he played tackle. I think he
Oh, he
played
played
tackle
tackle.
and guard at Whitewater, and for some reason they were projecting him
Oh, I see. For no good
as a
reason.
center because he is fast. He ran like a really fast 40, a sub 540. He had really good cone drill. He's really athletic and stuff like that, which you can see on the polling and stuff. But so for whatever reason, even though he never played center, they were actually had this great video. You should check it on your spare time. I know you don't want to be, but you would be a fan of Quinn Meinerz. He never
I like
learned
him
center.
already. I like him already.
He never learned center. He always played like tackler. He probably pretty much always played tackle. And then in the NFL, they're like, oh, you're going to be a guard or maybe center. And all of a sudden, everybody was talking about him being a center. So, and the scouts and everything else. And then he's like, I've never played center before. So he started working on center stuff. He started working on snapping. And he set up like a pizza paddle on his like recycling bin or garbage bin or whatever at his parents' house, and would snap to the pizza paddle and just try to hit the pizza paddle. That was like how he taught himself how to do like shotgun snaps as center in his off-season training. And then he's got like this whole other video where he went up to like his uncle's he went up to Canada on this island and was just like surrounded by just all nature, and he was like doing a bunch of wood chopping and all this sort of stuff. It was almost like a Rocky video that he made, kind of spoof. He's a super funny guy, animated, like awesome. I mean, he would have been such a good Packer. God, and they just, I don't know. Anyway, all right. So you can see the play now.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's see what this one is. I can't remember. This one is a pass set. Okay, so we showed some of his bad pass sets. Let's take a look at this one. He's right here, right guard again. Let's see what he does here on the pass set. All right, so we got a guy coming right at him. All right, so he's not in a great spot right now. He's got one leg back, one leg forward. Guy's got into him, but he recovers, shoves that guy back, then switches to the guy that was looping around and holds up and pushes him back. So that just also shows you his strength, but he's got some ability to switch on the fly, unlike good old Royce, who's just like, "Whoa, dude. Oh, just turn around because I'm not going to block that guy anymore." Packers. All right, one more to show you, Eric, here of Quinn. He's awesome. Should be a Packer. And then if the Packers weren't going to take him, the Vikings should have taken him. But anyway, you could have sold so many. He would have played well in Minnesota too. Like you would have sold a ton of Quinn Meinerz jerseys. The gut, the whole thing would have gone well. All right, watch this 4th and 1. Now this ends up being a terrible play because Melvin Gordon fumbles it. The running back, I think it's Melvin Gordon. Running back fumbles it. This is where it gets returned for a touchdown by Darius Slay, but it sure the hell is not because of Quinn Meinerz. This is a 4th and 1. I want you to watch him. This is offensive line 101. This is big boy football that the Packers cannot play with the offensive linemen they have. Vikings probably not either, but look at this guy right here. Right there. Watch him on this play. All right. I want you to see his fire out here. All right. He gets down. He gets low. Watch what he ends up doing. Look, this is Fletcher Cox right here. Fletcher Cox was here. Now he's here and turned and standing up. And Quinn is just getting guys out of the way. If they followed this 77 right here, that'd be a first down.
Yeah.
That would have been a first down. But they fumbled it. Some stuff went on. But it sure the heck wasn't because of that guy.
Yeah.
And that's 4th and 1 when everybody's geared up to stop you from getting that, right? Everybody's geared up to be, I'm getting penetration. I'm not allowing the offensive lineman to fire out.
Well, I think the other saying,
I'd take that guy on my team, but
for sure. And I think the other thing with, you moving to guard from tackle, especially your pass sets, is you don't have time to set up your set. The guy's on you like immediately. Where tackle, you got a few steps before the guy gets to you. You can set up and get your anchor, and it looks like he's trying to compensate instead of, he almost fires out when he does pass protection. It's just aggressive, but so if he could just figure out that technique from the guard spot and getting used to guys getting on him right away, he could definitely turn around. But yeah, he looks fun to watch even for an offensive lineman. He looks pretty fun to watch.
And he's got great personality too. I'm telling you, man, he was Go check out a couple of those things like him.
I will. Yeah, that
He did
sounds fun.
some interviews with like Good Morning Football Crew before the draft because he was climbing up the draft boards. And then all of a sudden they're like, who is this guy? And they saw his video and some other stuff. And his interviews are great. He's just, I mean, on that alone, just as a business, the Packers should have drafted him just because they could have sold a whole bunch more stuff. But he's also a type of offensive lineman the Packers have not had in, I don't know, my lifetime. I can't remember a dude who was an actual plow, run, dominator offensive lineman who maybe you could help coach him up on his pass blocking more. But man, you can't teach some of the stuff he can do. His bench was great, his speed, his agility. Like that guy was it. And as a guy who grew up in Wisconsin, and he was a no-brainer again that the Packers like. I don't know. Anyway, but the Vikings passed on him too, so whatever. I hope he's a Pro Bowl lineman in the league for like 10 years, 12 years.
That'd be a cool story.
Because he's awesome. Quinn Meinerz, huge fan. The gut. He's the man.